This is the U.S. state of Utah, and it is known as the Beehive state. Now, I'm not really an insect person, but these bees and beehives must be something special. So let's check them out. Where are the bees? I'm not seeing the bees anywhere. Where are the bees? I'm serious right now. Where are they? Where are the bees? Why is no one answering me? Where are they? Utah, the least satisfying name of any state. Utah is in the center west of the United States with over 3 million people and is about the size of Great Britain, and its nickname is the Beehive State. Even though there aren't really any beehives anywhere, the beehive is actually a symbol of the Church of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormons. When people think of Utah, the Mormons are at first come to mind. But who are these Mormons and what are they doing in present-day Utah? Well, let me tell you, it's quite the tale. So sit back and let me tell you the history of Utah. Our story begins in upstate New York, the home of a man named Joseph Smith, who has just formed his new religion. The radical New Yorkers were not fond of his preaching, and this land that was settled for religious freedom has decided to remove the other religion from New York. So they settled in Kirtland, Ohio. Finally, we have our new home, and look, we have water. Let's hope we aren't living somewhere with no water in 200 years. And just like all finances ever done in the state of Ohio, it crashed, and crisis struck the small town because of their poor banking decisions. Because of the violent pushback against them, they decided to pack up once more, now being the second time the Mormons would have to relocate. They then settled in Independence, Missouri. Joseph Smith believed it was the site of the Garden of Eden and would create their holiest sites, clearly. The Mormons preached that Missouri would host the Second Coming and that the land was owed to them, and they took control of all the local businesses. The heathens of Missouri rejected them. They were attacked yet again by those who disapproved of the saints' messages. This led to violence, and Mormon militias would form to lead deadly battles against the Missourians. In response, the Missourians would burn their homes to the ground and continue the violence. The Mormons no longer felt safe in the place they assumed was their home. The escalating violence led to the ruling to expel all Mormons from the state of Missouri, being forced to relocate yet again. But they will never forget their Garden of Eden.
This town's been awfully good to us.
No, it hasn't, Dad. That's why we're leaving.
Oh yeah! So long, stink town!
What a sad story. Would put a tear in the Iroquois' eye. But their story is not over. Despite all of their tragedies, they finally found their home in Nauvoo, Illinois.
Hey man, did you see my wife anywhere?
Yeah, our wife is over there.
What? That's my wife. You're not married to her.
Well, actually, in the Mormon faith, we actually have many wives.
No, she's my wife. Who will make me my dinner?
Well, she's with me right now, man.
You're not gonna be with anyone after this.
Guys, hold up. There's no need to fight, man. We just want to practice our own faith. After years of prejudice, we have so much more in common, like you both like marrying 14-year-olds. Our religions aren't all that different, after all.
I guess you're right. Let's settle this over a nice drink. What do you say?
Actually, we aren't allowed to drink. The United States were clearly not willing to accept the Mormons in the country, so they decided to keep heading west, until they finally found their new home at the Great Salt Lake, to form their new colony, Deseret. Really? That's what they called it? Deseret. Okay. It was also a huge land that they initially claimed after displacing all the natives, and eventually the name became Utah in 1850. They set up a new society, built a brand new city with new homes, new schools, new businesses. The Mormons have finally found a land where they could have peace. That is before Mexican secession, war with the United States over polygamy, militias killing everyone who travels through the region, being pardoned in exchange for statehood, then being roped into civil war immediately afterward, and then we finally have peace. Wow, what a beautiful story. Now let's move on from history and actually talk about the state itself. To understand Utah, you must first understand the Mormons, or the Church of Latter-day Saints. They're a culturally unique people. We can go over their exact beliefs and how they vary from other religions, but stereotypes are more fun. You're not allowed to drink alcohol or drink caffeinated drinks, which is why instead of traditional bars, you have waves of soda shops across the state, which are not popular anywhere else. Most Mormons go on international missions to convert others to the faith. Almost all members are white. Only 5% of the Mormon population is black, usually residing in poor, godless nations that need their assistance. Oh, and they're cool with gay people, they just don't exist. Under the faith, you're not allowed to have sex before marriage, hence why so many Utahns get married at such a young age. Fun fact, Utah is the youngest state in the country. That's not correlated at all. The religion has its role in all aspects of politics. The state itself is very conservative, and many of its politicians follow in the faith. 66% of the state is Mormon, and 88% of the government is Mormon. How come deserts always produce the most theocratic societies? Speaking of deserts, Utah is a large desert. Now we know desert countries are always stable, especially landlocked ones. Utah is a favorite destination for outdoors travelers, having a wide variety of different landscapes, amazing views, hiking trails, skiing, nice forests, ice castles. Obviously they have ice castles. Salt flats? Yeah, okay. What I especially love about this desert is that they actually have proper lawns instead of a pile of rocks and uneven cacti and identical houses that everyone apparently likes moving to. Stop moving to Phoenix. It is not that bad here. Stop leaving. It's not that bad. Stop! Oh, never mind. The lawns are not a good thing since the state is experiencing a massive drought and cannot sustain them. Utah is one of the most polluted states in the country. The state has heavily mismanaged their resources and the air is frequently polluted. The Great Salt Lake is drying up rapidly, but thankfully, they have prayer on their side.
Please join me and Utahns, regardless of religious affiliation, in a weekend of humble prayer for rain.
Let's talk about some of the cities. Salt Lake City, the capital and biggest city of Utah. Fun fact, KFC was founded in the city. It was the home of the first location. It is not founded in Kentucky. I guess now when you go there, instead of thinking about bluegrass and Appalachia, think about sand. Yummy. Provo, home of Brigham Young University, famous for its honor code prohibiting any unethical behavior, such as drinking and intercourse. It is very strict on the Mormon faith. Ogden. Ogden's a pretty cool place. St. George, a city near the south full of bad traffic and old people. It's also getting a little close to Arizona over there, and some rattlesnakes and scorpions are making their way over here. We all know how much people love those instead of normal animals like deer and rabbits. Come back! Hilldale, just a small town in the south and home of the fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints. Nothing that interesting going on here. I don't know why I'm even bringing it up, such a small population. Nothing bad or creepy happened here. There's nothing going on, no killing of pets or sex crimes, especially not involving this guy. Just a regular place full of purebred Americans. Yeah, we should move on from this section. You know how California and Texas have these small independence movements? Well, would you expect Utah to have one as well? It is incredibly different from the rest of the country, mostly represented by one religion. Can they pull it off? Well, the most interesting thing about Utah is that it's actually a good state to live in. It is one of the safest, ranks highly in healthcare, high in education, 46th in natural environment, and the #1 ranked economy in the US, with it having the second lowest poverty rate in the country, the second lowest unemployment rate, and the fastest growing economy in the country. Compared to other conservative states, it has also been less extreme, having stronger LGBT and women's rights in places like the Deep South. That is, at least on paper. Most of the state follows the governing body of the LDS, and they are a different story. That's where I get confused. Sure, it has great sights. I didn't mention it has the 3rd highest amount of national parks, but it's also dying. It has a great economy, but it is run by corrupt religious members. Did I say women's rights are good? Well, Utah has one of the highest wage gaps in the country. Oops. It has the highest amount of prescription drug abuse, disturbing cult universities risking the loss of accreditation. It has no diversity. Nice low poverty rate you got there. It is expensive. I cannot tell if Utah is really this amazing rich state that is not corrupt, or a creepy, secular, sandy mess. People from Utah will give you mixed answers. So, is Mormon America inevitable?
Slogans like "socialism sucks" are little different than "Black Lives Matter," except the former is a lukewarm, inoffensive catchphrase and the latter is actually effective at making people conform. We should virtue signal more, but with our actual virtues.
I really don't care anymore. And that is basically Utah. It isn't like any other state in the country. It's pretty, it's weird, a little creepy, it's better than Arizona. It's a state. There's so much to take away here, but if I learned anything about Utah, it's that KFC is not even that good.